Welcome to Redvee TV, supported for the 2019 season by A-Star Recruitment. And they've kitted us out and we look very professional.
Yeah, very smart indeed.
Starting as we mean to go on.
Yeah.
So yeah, many thanks to the team down at A-Star Recruitment. If you're looking for a job in the St Helens or Wigan area, make sure you get onto their website and see the opportunities available.
Yeah.
Preview show. Before we look at a bit of an off-season review, look ahead to the new season, and we couldn't think of a really better way to do it than get questions sent in to us on the social media.
Yeah.
So we've got plenty in, some from Saints fans, some from opposition. So we'll start with Russ from Warrington, who helped with one of our season previews.
Yeah, our season previews, they're up on the site. Opposition fans from every Super League club have answered a couple of questions, so check them out. Okay,
first off then, your predictions for the season, but using your head and not your heart.
Even using me head, me heart, whatever, Saints will be up there.
Yeah.
Saints will be there or thereabouts.
Well, we're stronger than last season, aren't we?
Yeah.
Last season, yeah, we had the Ben Barber effect, but this season I think we've got a stronger pack. Alex Walmsley, pretty much like a new signing, isn't he?
Yeah.
He missed that much of last season. For any Super League club to have Alex Walmsley coming into their side, or even an NRL club, would be a great signing for them. How blessed are we that he's going to come back into the Saints side and potentially might not be the star forward.
Yeah, absolutely. As I say, I think we'll be there or thereabouts. I think we've strengthened across the park. Better option on the right hand side in the centres with Nakama. Lachlan Coote kind of brings something different to Ben Barber. He's not going to be as explosive as like when Ben Barber came in, started the season, and we all thought, oh my God, he's just going to win us every single game and score about 300 tries.
Good times.
They were brilliant times. But yeah, Saints will be there or thereabouts.
Yeah, Joseph Paulo as well.
Yeah.
Potentially an upgrade on John Wilkin, who was coming towards the end of his career. No disrespect to John.
Yeah.
But Joseph Paulo. And then youngsters, James Bentley, Joe Batchelor, Jack Wellesby will get game time. So yeah, we'll come on to them all again in a minute.
Costello and the likes, yeah, indeed.
Wigan. How are Wigan go this season?
Yeah, I think Wigan are always going to be round and about when the cups are getting handed out towards the end of the year, aren't they?
Will they miss Sean Wayne?
Absolutely. I think Adrian Lamb's going to kind of make him a little bit more open, which will suit the likes of George Williams. Be able to kind of throw it about a little bit, maybe do a little bit more off the cuff. I do think it's a strange setup with him only being in charge for a year, but Sean Edwards has also said you never know what happens in rugby, so it could be that Adrian Lamb stays in that position.
If he doesn't, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
If he does a Solskjaer and wins his first 9, yeah.
I am absolutely made up Sean Wayne has left Wigan. Just for our benefits, because he was a great coach for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wigan fans at times didn't like him, but when it came to cups being handed out, he always got them there or thereabouts.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a lovely bloke as well. Away from the rugby, he's a lovely fella. And he just had that way of getting Wigan pumped up and ready for the big games. I mean, you only have to look at the Saints-Wigan games. He wore his heart on his sleeve. He told you what he thought of
If Saints had Sean Wayne in charge, but as a Saints version of Sean Wayne, we wouldn't have lost half the derbies we've lost.
Correct. And we'd have probably won more grand finals.
Yeah. How will Warrington go, do you think, up there with Saints?
Yeah. They've recruited well, and a little bit like there's a couple of Lamatazi is a little bit of a strange one. Jake Mamo could have fallen into that, one of the strange ones. Why haven't they kind of promoted someone from the academy? But with the news that Kev Brown's going to be out or potentially out for the season, it could work that Jake Mamo could play fullback, and if he replicates the form that he had for Huddersfield, that'll be a scary proposition for anybody. I think they'll miss Kev Brown, but I think again Warrington kind of have that big game mentality when it comes to the league, that they will be up there. It's getting across that last hurdle for them. They've won Challenge Cups, but getting to the grand final and not having won one, you'd almost forgive it if they won one and lost 6 or something.
For me, I thought last season was their best chance once they got past us and they blew it.
Well, but that's it. You never know. They might have an even better chance this year.
Will Leeds be back up there this season? They've been a bit of a yo-yo club over the last couple of years. Winning grand finals, then going to middle eight, then coming back and winning a grand final. by all way, after last season, they should be back on the up. Now they've got a new coach in David Ferner with new ideas and 3 decent stands.
You'll never let that go, will you?
The best ground in the Super League, except you get soaked if you're in the away end. Brilliant.
My favourite ones are the Leeds fans who say that's not the away end, even though that's where you have to buy tickets for. Leeds will be, again, they'll be stronger than last year. They've got to be. They've recruited well. It's just whether it's too much all for this season. Having a new coach, new key players. I don't know if it's going to be...
Top half will be successful.
I wouldn't be surprised if they finished 4th. Conversely, I wouldn't be surprised if they finished 7th. But I cannot see them being as low down the table as they were last year.
Castleford, as their time passed, Luke Gale, the loss of him for the year, although they may get a replacement, massive blow. I don't know, maybe Castleford don't have that fizz or the fear factor that they've probably had in recent years.
Yeah, I wonder if they've actually evolved how they play enough to kind of keep teams guessing. Or, like, Wigan have always been strong in the forwards. Now, if you're strong in the forwards and then you've got a couple of decent outside backs, then you're all right because they'll get you up the field. And you wonder if Cass have kind of been able to kind of change how they play a little bit. They used to not playing with Luke Gale because he was out for a bit last season. But Cass are a team that I worry about. Their top 5 ambitions may well be kind of on hold for another year.
Catalan, for me, obviously winning the Challenge Cup last season, made some really good signings in the off-season, and Matty Smith will be there and thereabouts. Sorry, I couldn't help that one.
Well, to be honest, I think
he'll go well.
I think Matty Smith will go well for him, just because they've got a big set of forwards and they'll be structured in how they play. Yeah, they've got off-the-cuff players like Tony Gigo and Sam Tompkins, but I think he will be. I think he'll be a good, steady outlet for them. He didn't fit into how we played. He was a little bit too kind of slow and methodical for it.
To be fair, in the last few years, he was the biggest mistake bringing him back.
Unfortunately, yeah, because I think everybody wanted it to work out for him because he was a sales lad. He's come through our system,
and he stayed professional throughout.
Absolutely, and
it's helped Danny Richardson and the likes massively.
I wouldn't hear a bad word said about him. For me, Catalan should be looking at top 4.
Who is your outsider dark horse who you expect to do better?
Hull KR. They've recruited well. Horrible place to go over at East Hull. The fans are vociferous, intimidating, at least off the field. Before the game, after the game, they're usually quite nice to have a chat with. But I just think it can be a horrible place to go. We never play well there. And I think it's
always cold.
Yeah, if they're even in the height of summer, it's freezing over there. If they can kind of get some good away wins allied to good home form, then they'll be all right.
So what you're saying, Kev, if they win a lot of games, they'll be up there.
No, I'm saying
expert analysis here. But Redvee TV.
But what I'm saying is, like, if they'll probably lose a couple of games against teams that they should be beating.
Yeah.
So if they've got, like, no offence, London at all,
they've got to win the ones they're expected to win.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. And the one team we've not mentioned at all, and we never ever mention, and we really pay little attention to, is Wakefield. But every year, they're always on the cusp.
Yeah, absolutely.
I couldn't even tell you who they've signed in the off-season, but you know that Chris Chester will mould them and will make them difficult to beat.
They should have read the previews then, shouldn't they? They've signed some solid, if unspectacular players, to be fair. The likes of George King from Warrington, Danny Brough they've signed as well, who is going to give him that kind of, I was going to say level-headed.
Danny Brough
level-headed. He's going to give him that direction.
Danny Brough must be nearly as old as Stanley G.
He's nearly as old as me.
He's never ending.
No.
He's going to be here forever. He's going to be 50 on the Zimmer frame, kicking 40-20.
He still will be able to as well. No, they've kind of addressed that they need kind of a stronger half-back, I think. Again, it's always one of them niggly places to go, isn't it? We're playing them on a February what is it?
Next week,
Sunday?
second week, yeah. Next week.
In February, it'll be absolutely freezing up there. It'll be terrible conditions.
Can't wait.
Can't wait. I can't wait to be starting tennis.
Okay, very quickly off the top of your head, top 5 in an order.
Saints, Warrington, Wigan, Catalan, Hull KR. I'm going to stick my neck out on that one.
Saints, Warrington, Catalan, Wigan, Leeds. Okay, that's my 5. How many Saints games do you get to each season? Pretty much all of them.
Yeah.
We usually miss Catalan away because poverty strikes. This year's no different. Some of us are saving for weddings, aren't we, Kevin?
Yeah. Thankfully not to each other.
So yeah. I asked. He said no. But yeah, so wedding coming up in the summer, so you'll miss a couple of games during the summer. But yeah, last season I think it was Catalan away, and I think we missed Warrington away because we were in Berlin on the Isle.
Yeah.
So you should see us shrink into these tops a little bit better during the season. Let us know throughout the season if you're not happy with our weight loss as we prepare for Kev's August wedding.
If not, we'll just have to get bigger sizes.
Yeah. I lost the tweets. Which 2 players will be your most influential for Saints?
Alex Walmsley coming back is massive, I think. Gives us a different option up front, because obviously he's a tall figure. He's massive, isn't he?
When you say tall, about 6'4".
It's whatever, yeah. Taller than me at 5'9", yeah. He's something different, because I feel like a lot of our props are similar size. So he's something different. I think obviously him coming back, and if he keeps getting better, like he looked quite bright in the Hull friendly. But if he keeps getting better and he's got the confidence after his injury, then he'll go really well. The other one, Lachlan Coote, I just think that he'll bring a bit more defensive stability at the back. If I hear the phrase,
that's not hard.
If I hear the phrase left foot kicking game about him one more time, I think I'm going to scream. But if he can bring that to it as well,
phrase.
It is stop phrase.
Stop phrase for every commentary
like,
wishing for him this season.
Like evergreen James Rolby, I think. But if he can bring a kicking game to kind of take it off our half-backs, then great. But I think he'll be key to us.
I'm going to go for Kevin Nakama. He's a massive upgrade on Ryan Morgan. And how lucky does Tommy Makinson must feel? Tommy Makinson's been absolutely fantastic the last few years, having to come inside and do it himself a lot of the time. But he'll be licking his lips on that right wing this season. The amount of ball he's going to get and the amount of tries he's going to score, he's got to be a really good bet for top try scorer. So Kevin Nakama for the ball he's going to provide, and he's an absolute unit. I posted a picture of him this week. He's massive. And I think Joseph Powell as well. Obviously brought in as a replacement for John Wilkin, and John was coming to the end of his career, so hopefully Joseph can get in very quickly and get up to speed, and we just look good across the park. We're not even going to mention Luke Thompson, who's just better than potentially Alex Walmsley, new James Graham. And will 2019 be the year of the Wolf? Yes. Like last year and the year before. Should we go back every single year?
No, I think that's enough.
We'll run out of time, won't we? But yeah, always. Across the other teams in Super League, which player will have the biggest impact?
Sean O'Loughlin for me. Wigan keep him fit. They finish higher up the league.
That's another stock phrase, isn't it? We always talk about Sean O'Loughlin.
Yeah, you're always on about keeping him fit.
It's like this show is like a Sean O'Loughlin loving.
He's the one I'd have in our team, even though he's about 304.
I'd have him in our team when he's in his wheelchair.
But that's it. They wrap him up in cotton wool. They play him in the games that he needs to play in.
Against us.
Yeah, usually. But they keep him fit, and he's the leader. He's the one who gets him through big games, and I think he's key. If I'm looking at anybody else, one of the new signings, Lola Heyer, if I've got that wrong, forgive me, from Leeds, and Blake Austin are the obvious choices. I'm
going to go for Zach Hardacre. Again, another Wiganer, because I feel this season Wigan are going to depend on key individuals if they're going to be up there, rather than the team dogged work ethic of Wigan in the last few years. Obviously, losing Bateman's going to be massive, but Zach Hardaker's still got the X factor. He should have fresh legs after his layoff, and if he can do for Wigan what he did for Castleford, he'll score loads. Yeah. Hopefully not starting on Thursday night. Who would you play, Farge or Richardson, and what are the pros and cons, and why is Holbrook thinking as he is?
Holbrook's going to pick Farge if you believe the press, because Richardson hasn't had a full pre-season. So potentially he's going for the fitter one of the two, which you can't really blame him with.
We got a little bit of stick for daring to support Theo Farge. And in reality, I just wanted to post the Theo Farge song and a load of Saints happy fans at Newcastle singing his song, and it was just a cheap excuse to post it. But in reality, we support anybody in Saints shirts. Yeah. It's not a pop at Danny Richardson. For me, I prefer Danny Richardson as a player. But who am I to argue with Justin Holbrook, who's watched both in pre-season, and hopefully this season is going to pick more horses for courses. And the competition for players means if you're keeping a player out, it's because you're playing well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the pros for Danny is the out-and-out natural number 7 in our squad. He's been given the number 7 shirt. They could have left him and left the number 7 shirt free if they'd have wanted to. They could have left him playing at, what was he last year, number 19 or something, whatever it was. Could have left him there. But I think he is first choice, and I think that's right. I said last year that I wanted to see Regan Grace and Morgan Knowles, kind of how they improved. Well, this year it goes to Danny Richardson. I want to see his last tackle options improve, when to run, when to dummy, when to give the ball, when to kick. And then when it does come to kicking, I want to see that change as well. His go-to ball at the end of the year was a bomb. Yeah. Well, I want to see more grubber kicks. I want to see just something a little bit different.
He needs to dictate games more for me. For me, in the big games last year, he wasn't a leader. Yeah,
listen.
Maybe he wasn't expected to be at a young age. Yeah, but with experience, that should hopefully come.
Hopefully so, because I think as a scrum half, you're kind of the de facto captain. And I know James Roby's the club captain, but you're the one who should be turning around going, no, this is the play we're going to run now. This is how we're going to do things. I'm in charge of this. You're going to... And we saw last year when Percival scored the try against Warrington, when he stepped on the last tackle, ran through, perfect kick, Percival takes it, scores. Yeah. Absolutely brilliant. More of that, please. And I know it's dead easy for two fat lads on a couch to say this. Joking there, can see. But it's easy for us to say that.
Like a referee.
But he does. He needs to kind of take all the experiences on. Go and speak to Sean Long, speak to Johnny Lomax, speak to whoever he can, and just kind of take that on board, because he is, for me, our starting 7. And the only reason I think Farge is taking his chances is because Farge has been obviously training throughout the pre-season, knows that this is his chance to grab a starting half-back shirt. So Danny's got to work at it, and hopefully he does, because that just means...
I think with Danny not having that full pre-season, Theo, I think, is better defensively. Yeah. And I think if we weren't playing Wigan on Thursday and it was just, I don't know, a Hull KR,
London,
Salford, London, yeah. Richardson would probably start that position. But I think looking at where we are and the what's first up, I think that's why maybe Justin's going a little bit safety first, with
possibly.
So yeah, right. I think that's enough for part 1. Yeah. Join us for part 2, where we'll be answering some more of your questions. If you're watching this Sunday night, check in mid-morning to dinner time on Monday, and you'll be able to see part 2. See you soon on Redvee TV.